and I'm sitting here looking, and this police officer with no mask, no helmet, anything at all, he just got an M4 in his hand, and he's got it pointed within 2 inches of this guy with a camera. And he's sitting there saying that he was gonna kill this guy. And he said, I'm media, and he goes, I don't effing care. What is going on? These guys are out of control, and they keep telling you on mainstream media, on Fox, on CNN, oh, you know, it was a very peaceful night. Negative. It's peaceful until you guys get out of control. They started attacking journalists. I witnessed 3 journalists get thrown to the ground by multiple police officers and were punched, grabbed, wrangled, hog-tied up, and carried out of there, exercising their rights as media. They were moving when the cops told them to get out of that way. Since I've been here, it has been complete and total madness. The police are against the media because they know the truth will get out, and they do not want that to happen.
What do you think about this, Captain? They're arresting journalists. Yesterday you told us they weren't arresting journalists.
You need to leave.
Now they're arresting journalists.
You're next.
Sidewalk.
Now you're arresting journalists.
Sidewalk, please.
I got him.
It felt like such an environment that it was going to get so bad that I felt that I had to choose safety over footage at that point, and I had to get my team out of there. I don't like having my rights stripped away. I don't think anybody that lives in a free country likes that as well. You know, we're here to bring you, the viewer, the people, the truth as it happens. You know, when they keep us from doing that, it sucks.
And that's something that should concern you regardless of where you live, because it's not just a Ferguson, Missouri issue. This affects everybody in this country. But for something that affects everybody all around the world, Rob Duke comes and tells us about what you need to know about water filtration.
That's right. We've had 2 recent scientific reports that have come out that have come directly to us here at INFOWARS.com, and they do affect water. I got a question for you, Jakari. Do you filter your water at home?
Not as much as I should, but I don't drink much tap water. I pretty much just shower with it, and that's about it.
Yeah, I avoid tap water as much as possible unless it is filtered. And full disclosure, I do use the ProPure system at my house with my family at all times. But one thing what I want to talk about something that's affecting the people in Toledo right now. Right now in Toledo, we have the algae that is this toxic microcystine that is going through the water supply. It has affected all the residents there. You've seen the pictures of the shelves being cleared out when the officials came on and said, hey, don't drink the water, go out and buy your bottled water. Well, the shelves cleared really quickly. Well, I have some interesting scientific information about that. This is out of the Blade headline, Algae Forecast Detailed at Stone Lab Gathering. Scientists expect the remainder of Lake Erie's algae season to be bad, though not nearly as bad as the worst season on record in 2011. The 2011 record outbreak was considered a 10. The 2014 forecast calls for a 6, maybe a 7. Now, this is very interesting. This is not something that occurs every 100 years, like, you know, they have a 100-year floodplain. No, this is occurring every few years in the Lake Erie area, and this is affecting their drinking water of many residents. And here's a little bit of trivia. There are more than 100 forms of algae in Lake Erie. Most of them are good for the food chain, but there are more than 80 varieties of microcystis, the main algae that produces the toxic microcystine. Now, microcystine is what everybody's worried about. It is what is poisoning the water, giving it a foul color, a foul odor, and it's really giving the people in the water plant a hard time. They can't get rid of it. So it's going into people's taps, and then people are drinking it. Well, unless you get the word out and the officials come out and say, hey, don't drink the water, which takes us to another location. Now I want to take you on a map ride. We're going to go from Toledo down to West Virginia in the Elk River area, where the American water system is now facing lots of civil lawsuits for what happened back in January, where over 300,000 people had their drinking water contaminated with the chemical MCHM, which is known as 4-methyl-1 cyclohexene methanol. Very hard to say on the tip of your tongue, but that's a chemical used in the coal mining process, and it got into the drinking water. People were told about that, but it took a while. It took a while for people to learn about that information. Now, if you were filtering your water, would you have been safe? That's a good question to ask. Well, we have 2 reports now that I want to go to real quickly. Behind me is a lab result from the lab Envirotech Laboratories located in New Jersey. And back in February 13th, just after the disaster in Elk River, they did tests with the MCHM contaminant and to see how the ProPure G2 filters would react to them. If you look real close down here, and we're going to blow this up for you on screen, 99.89% of the MCHM was filtered out of the water. So had you not gotten the information from the authorities, public servants, the people who are supposed to be doing their job, and you were drinking contaminated water, but you were using a water filter system, it would have been taking out up to 99.89% of that contaminant. Now let's look at the microcystine back in Toledo, Ohio. Say you're living in Toledo, not in West Virginia. Now this report from Envirotech Laboratories comes out August 16th, 2014. They did a test with the microcystis, and they found microcystine levels were reduced up to 99% out of the G2 filter elements. So you have a way better chance of not getting these contaminants into your body when you filter your water, especially when you use the ProPure drip filters and not one that's like pushing the water through your tap water, a system that's hooked up to your water tap system. So it's these drip filters that allow all the contaminants to just stay up in the filters and not getting into your water, basically into your bodies and into your family's bodies. So if you're like me, I would get you a ProPure system and start filtering your water today, because you never know where these things can crop up. We've seen plenty of contamination accidents happen all over the country. This is just two different examples that just happened this year. Jakari, this is pretty amazing. That I was shocked when I got these lab results back, and we're going to post these up on the G2 system. In fact, we can show you that right here. If you go to this page on our INFOWARS store, you can actually see what the results are. If you scroll down, it talks about the Elk River incident, and we'll be adding the new incident that happened in Toledo and the results that just came out. And in fact, these just came out August 16th. So we're just 4 days that these are out, and we're finally now getting to it with all the other news that's going on in Ferguson.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely something people should look at. You know, like I said, I'm a single guy. I don't cook, I don't clean too much, and, you know, other than just for myself and my dog. And I don't even cook inside my house. I eat out almost every day. But if you have kids, if you have somebody who drinks a lot of tap water, I definitely would recommend this system. And I'm just going to have to go ahead and get one, you know, because you never know. I drink a lot of bottled water, but, you know, even that, you have the BPA and the other things in the plastics that you want to try to avoid. Exactly. So, Rob, definitely thank you, and give us your final thoughts. Yeah, when we have bottled water in our house, we run it through the filter anyway, because you never know what kind of contaminants could come out of the plastic. This is something that everybody should be thinking about, not just in these different locations, because you could have something happen anywhere, and it is something that you need to do to protect yourself and your family. Oh, yeah, not just the ProPure. I do have the Life Straws. I am ready for that in case, you know, you ever have to bug out. I keep those in my bug out bag, so I'm ready to go on that. But, Rob, thank you for that. And everybody go to INFOWARS shop and be sure to pick up a ProPure system. Stay tuned right after this for Larry Pinckney.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox Special at InfoWarsLife.com.
City of Austin tap water versus filtered City of Austin tap water.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
This has an aftertaste.
Tastes like Austin water? Yeah, it does. Ugh.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
High quality H2O.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, Monsanto's deadly pesticide, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
Yeah, it has that processed flavor to it.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances and many more, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today. Use promo code WATER and save 10% off your ProPure purchase. Again, that's InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
Our guest tonight is Larry Pinckney, activist and a member of the original Black Panther Party. He joins us to talk about the situation in Ferguson, Missouri, and also what he thinks about President Obama's job performance. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Pinckney.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
All right, now, I'll tell you, Larry, I just had some boots on the ground out in Ferguson, Missouri. We still have a team out there right now. And what are your thoughts about the situation? We'd been out there since, I guess, last Tuesday. and we saw them gas peaceful protesters, but that's not to say that everybody in the crowd was peaceful. You definitely had some provocateurs trying to stir things up, throwing Molotov cocktails, throwing rocks at the police. So what is your general take on the situation?
More of the same. You know, what my take on the situation is that we're going to see more and more of the agent provocateur activity. It's not just in Ferguson, but it's throughout this country. I think that the tragedy in Ferguson, Missouri, can and should be turned into something very positive. My first concern, frankly, is that the so-called mainstream, I call it corporate stream, lane stream, vomit stream media, is trying to put this in a narrative of black versus white. Mm-hmm. It is not a black versus white situation. It is a situation where all people, black, white, brown, red, and yellow people, have a stake in this. We all have a stake in this together. So that's my general thought on that. But let me say very quickly that this is not just about Michael Brown or Michael Brown's family. Let's also remember the young white man by the name of Brandon Ellingson, that's Ellingson, who died in the custody, also in Missouri, of the state troopers, state police of Missouri. And this is quite recent. Again, his name is Brandon Ellingson. And I emphasize that our struggle is it's we the people. It's a constitutional struggle. Mm-hmm. And my real concern, frankly, is that there are more than enough. In fact, we shouldn't have any provocateurs out there working for both the police department and the federal government. So we need to be aware of that. And
yes.
And you know, the media, the so-called media, and I want to compliment you, Jakari, and all the crew of INFOWARS for the tremendous job that you all have been doing, and also placing yourselves in jeopardy. But you know what? That's what the struggle is all about.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate that, Mr. Pinckney, because just like you said, you have to go through those to those extremes to bring people the truth, because we want that to be exposed, what's going on. Like I said, there's plenty of blame to go around. Not everything the police do is great. Not everything the crowd in general does is great. But as you pointed out, this is not a white thing. It's not a black thing. It's not a Hispanic thing. It's not an Asian thing. This is about people just coming together saying we've had enough of the police brutality. We've had enough of the unaccountability, and we want some answers in this community, not just here, all around the country. You talk about other white people who have been victims of police brutality. Kelly Thomas in California famously was beaten to death screaming for his parents, "Daddy, please save me from these vicious attacks." But we want a peaceful resolution all the way around. So with this said, Mr. Pinckney, we've seen a lot of people comment on the situation going on in Ferguson, many people who are the supposed leaders of the black community. And I'm sure you know the names as well as I do. But what do you think about the response of these supposed black leaders to this situation?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you said supposed black leaders, because they, in fact, are not leaders. They are misleaders, M-I-S, misleaders of not only the black community, but people of all colors. So, you know, you have the Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, the Eric Holders, and of course, none other than the illustrious drone man, secret kill list, double-talking Barack Obama. None of these people represent a genuine leadership of any people, be they black, white, brown, red, or yellow. And we need to understand that leadership begins in the community. In the community. There are plenty of people in that community who are articulate, who have lived in the community many years, and who should be being supported. But instead, what the media, the so-called mainstream media, is doing is they are honing in on everything that they can do to divide people, to keep people in fear. They are avoiding dealing with the root causes. And I say causes, not cause. Because